We see your dog there next to you. He's
Yes,
very
he is
excited. Yeah.
wondering what the hell am I doing. Co caro, not so.
Actually, you're fortunate to have found a dog that speaks Polish. It works out well, I bet.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of JoomCast, the podcast that features people who are part of the Joomla community, discovers how they got there, what they contribute to Joomla, and a whole bunch more. My name is Chetan Madaan of JoomDev, and I'm here with my co-host Tim Davis of Cybersalt and the Basic Joomla Tutorials YouTube channel. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Chetan, how are you doing?
I'm better. I told you the pollution here is so bad. If I don't make it, you're going to have to keep the show by yourself. So, fortunately, I'm alive.
That's my long-term goal to get rid of you anyway, so that's...
Come on, man.
No, but I know that you've been sick, so I'm glad you're well enough to do this, and I might sound a little bit sick, but it's only because it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning to get an early start. For those of you who don't know about Joomla, Joomla is a very popular CMS or content management for building websites. As of today's recording date, Joomla is running version 3.9.13, and for Joomla 4 we have the version Alpha 12. And we've heard that Beta 1 will be out soon, maybe if it goes live. Joomla 4, which is the next big Joomla version, is expected to come out in the new year 2020.
We want to hear from you. You can contact us on Twitter at JoomCast, JoomCast. Or if you're listening to us on Anchor.fm, you can push the message button and leave a voice comment up to a minute long. We might even include your comment in a future episode. Let's meet our guest for today, Derek Schnig. Derek is from Poland and he's a tech support specialist who works at cloudaccess.net. Very famous web hosting. Derek loves meeting new people, visiting people, and has a dog named Caro he spoils very much.
Derek, welcome to JoomCast.
Hey everybody, thank you for having me. It's really quite exciting. I've never done anything like this before, so hooray for new experiences.
Great. Well, it's great to have you here. Derek, who are you? What do you do? Give us a glimpse of your personal life.
As Chetan already said, I'm from Poland. I'm a tech support specialist at cloudaccess.net. I've been doing that for almost 10 years now. As far as personal life goes, I used to be a musician. I actually majored in music education in the University of Szczecin. I used to be a heavy metal singer for the Polish band Headbanger. But last year we split due to personal reasons. So right now I pretty much work, spoil my dog, hang out with my friends, take care of my mom, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and I play a lot of World of Warcraft.
Dark, all right, how did you get into doing Joomla? What's your Joomla story?
10 years ago, I was still at university. I was just finishing up my Bachelor of Arts, and I was friends with the then sub-team manager of CloudAccess.net, Eric Trach, and we were friends since high school, and basically we met up for a beer, and we were talking, shooting debris, and he told me, "Hey, you know what? I just got this cool job like a few weeks ago at this hosting company. We do Joomla, and we're looking for people that are fluent in English, know their way around computers, get the internet, and so on. So, do you want a job?" Uh, and I said yes, and a few days later I had my interview, and they said yes, which is really kind of funny considering that really the first question I asked Eric after he proposed me that job, what is Joomla? Because I knew about WordPress. I played around with WordPress a little before that, and I played around with PHP and CSS for my high school's website. I was like a co-editor there. But I didn't know Joomla, so he basically just sent me a bunch of links. Okay, learn this, this, and that. At this moment, we don't need bona fide experts. We need people who can think on their feet, learn on the fly, and learn fast. And I was, okay, yeah, sure, let's do this thing. And suddenly, what do I know? 10 years have passed, and I'm still doing it, and I still thoroughly enjoy it, and I'm very happy that this happened, that I am part of this community, and I am doing.
Everyone we talk to, it just looks like everyone ends up in Joomla by accident. No one was like really, hey, growing up, I want to be a CMS developer or something like that. By accident they were having a beer, or maybe they were looking for a change. They were working in banking, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do Joomla. That's my thing.
That actually ties really nicely with like my perception of Joomla, or to be more exact, what is the strongest beating heart of Joomla? It's community, because
Right.
whether you're on the forum or on the official Joomla Facebook group, or as it was my case, going to conferences, what I learned is that the community is really the best thing about the entire like Joomla sphere, so to speak. I mean, don't get me wrong, the CMS is great. I wouldn't be working, with Joomla if I didn't think the CMS was great. But, I'll give you a for instance. Once there was a conference in, I think it was Łódź in Poland. Anyway, it was Joomla Day Poland, and me and two of my friends from Cloud Access had to like leave the conference earlier to catch our train, because we didn't have any place to stay for the night after the conference, and we were already on our way to the taxi, and another conference goer, he just walked up to us and said, "Hey, you guys are from Szczecin, right?" "Yeah, yeah, but we have to leave already because our train and stuff like that." I was like, "You know what? Why miss the conference? I'm going by car to Szczecin right after the conference, so why don't you hitch a ride with me?"
About we get it a lot. Everyone loves the community, but there's a negative aspect to it. Like, everyone's a decision maker. I can go up and say I want this feature. You can go up and say you want this. And if I'm making enough sense, everyone will have to listen to it. Doesn't matter. No one has a veto power to say like, okay, you know what? We're not going to do this in the coming Joomla version. When you give community that power, cannot stick to deadlines like it has been happening with Joomla 4. What's your take on something?
Well, in my perception, it's the matter of a product structure versus a certain mentality and ethics that come with open source and with a community-driven product. From one point, yes, as you said, having everybody in the community have a say in how the product's going to end up looking like, that slows down and sometimes leads the development. There's just no way of going around it. But what we must remember while considering that is that Joomla is not, at least in its current shape, it's not a commercial product. It's something by the people for the people. It's something by the community for the community. And I think I think open source matters have been pretty good in balancing that out. Not perfect by a long stretch. There are multiple issues which have to be addressed, and I think everybody who's been ever involved in the project would agree to that. That there are issues that need to be solved, flaws that need to be addressed. But it all comes down to deciding what we want Joomla to be. Do we want Joomla to be a money-making machine, a strictly commercial product, or do we want it to be something that is there to help people build their own online identity?
You said about the ethics and mentality of a community, and I think that's an excellent point because so many people say it's the community that they like most about Joomla or that really moves them. One of the things for a community to survive and to thrive is an unconditional acceptance of each other, even when not everybody likes each other or agrees with everything or even has the same perspective. If that's going to survive, a business, you just tell people what to do, and if they don't like it, they go get a new job. But a community takes an intentional effort to accept and I would say even give unconditional love and acceptance to each other so that everybody continue to benefit from their strengths.
Well, that is true, but I wouldn't say that even the Joomla community gives. I'm sorry, how did you phrase that?
Unconditional love?
unconditional acceptance. I mean, there have been features and lines of thought that have been eliminated from the project. Sorry, there have been people who, of course, not by order from up high, but kind of organically were excluded from the Joomla community because they just didn't fit in, and that's just something that happens in a community. If anything, I think that making Joomla into a commercial product, that would instill a enforced unconditional acceptance of everything that the up highs deem to be acceptable. But right now, the community itself and open source matters as well do have the tools to exclude lines of thoughts and even people who just do not fit the project.
I mean, I was thinking more of an unconditional acceptance that comes from the heart as opposed to that comes from an accepted line or see what you're saying. And of course, no community is perfect because it's made up of imperfect. And I contribute imperfection as well. Although people do like laughing at me as well.
Derek, would you be in favor to some part of the project can be commercialized? Like where decisions regarding the project can be made, but made behind closed doors, and they're not to be. But everything else, the work getting done, and voluntary. And
Well, yes and no. Yes, as in a long-term strategy, I would be in favor for example, having a staff of actual paid developers that would commit a serious amount of time to Joomla
right.
as their job. Because right now it's all volunteer driven, right? And let's not be coy and kid ourselves. If a developer has the choice between something that he has to do because he or she has to do that because it puts food on the table, and a hobby project, he or she will always choose the thing that puts the food on the table. That's just how it
That's just how
rolls.
the word works.
That might actually be why I'm hungry.
But the problem I see with it is that what you mentioned, that an idea being locked down. I think a fully commercialized product would also make it difficult without fatal flaws over time. Like with the example of WordPress, what I find to be a fatal flaw in WordPress is the use of, I'm making air quotes right now, hard coding and serialized data when putting in physical paths and the domain name itself in the WordPress database, which without the use of a third-party plugin causes great issues with things like changing a domain name on a WordPress website or migrating a WordPress website from one server to another. Like in a community-driven project like Joomla, when a fatal flaw like that is found out, it's easier to just say, okay, let's scrap what we have and go from the top. WordPress is what, 12, 13 years old?
It's been
It does
around
have,
since Mambo, so it's older than Joomla in name.
and it had this serialized data domain name inclusion in the database from what I know from the beginning, and it hasn't been changed yet, and from what I can see, it won't, because if they change it, they basically have to rebuild the entire CMS from scratch. But it's a business. Realistically, they can't really afford that because they've already built a brand on an interface and on a way of doing things that hasn't really changed much for the entirety of WordPress's existence. I mean, obviously, new features have been added, new functionalities, and so on and so forth. But the way of thinking with pages and posts and so on in WordPress, it hasn't really changed a lot for the last X years. And I think it's because it's a more commercialized product than Joomla. Like in Joomla, we've had a totally, well, okay, in Joomla 2.5, it was just a renewed interface when looking at 1.5. In 3, it was, from my point of view, it was a completely different interface. Then in 4, we're getting a total revolution when it comes to GUI. Now, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, I leave that to to all of you to decide for yourselves. But we do have those options, And I'm afraid that remaking Joomla as a fully commercialized product may impede such big changes from one version to another. And sadly, I have to say that as a Joomla fan, but as an objective Joomla fan, Joomla is behind some of our competitors, again air quote, in the CMS market, and it does need major improvements in several of its areas. It needs to be done quickly, and we cannot be bogged down by a profit margin driven business model to achieve that.
Let me ask you this, Derek. While we are at this top where WordPress has not rebuilt or redone anything from the scratch from the time they started it, okay? So, but that's good for business, right? You don't have to teach your clients new backend every time a version comes in. And I remember having clients on Joomla 1.5, which I had to upgrade to 2.5, and then I had to upgrade to 3, which were all manual upgrades. WordPress hasn't had that in a while. The updates automatically. And as long as the plugins do support that and they're saving the data in the same way, you don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, that's good for clients and keeping their websites and good for businesses. So in a manner where you're not redoing everything from the scratch would be great, no?
I mean, yes, it does make the learning curve easier, or even eliminate that, as the case may be when learning a new GUI.
Right.
But that's just, that comes down to figuring out what's more important in the long run for both the product and the community. Either we want to stay with things that are familiar and are comfortable, or we want to move forward. Or maybe not move forward, because WordPress is moving forward. To deny that would be simply lying.
Right.
But I think the ability and the will to make drastic changes would allow us to move forward faster. So it's basically, as I said, it comes down to what you find more important, being comfortable and familiar, or improving the product faster and in larger leap.
All right, well, let's change gears a little bit so Chetan can reload his sniper rifle. Darek, what are some of your favorite projects that you have worked on that you'd like to talk about?
Well, I'm not a web designer per se. I'm a support specialist, so I don't build websites on the daily.
You must have done a site for your band.
Yes, but it's no longer online. It's been put offline because, well, as I said, the band no longer exists, so there is no point in keeping a website. One website that I am proud of doing is sabaton.pl. It's the website of the official Polish fan club of the Swedish heavy metal band Sabaton, of which I am a part, the fan club, not the band.
Sabaton,
And
how do you spell that?
S as in Stephen, A as in Apple, B as in Barbara, A as in Apple, T as in Thomas, O as in Oprah, N as in Nancy. It's a fan club site, not a band site.
Oh, so they do have like an official website.
Yes, their official website is sabaton.net, and it's actually built on WordPress.
Okay.
But that was not something I worked on. They have their own webmaster who works on their own website.
And besides, amongst headbangers, you're going to get a lot of WordPress use. Comes with banging your head.
Well, I can't speak to that.
Darek, what is something that you've learned later in life that you would go back and tell a younger you?
Let me think on that for a while. Honestly, right now, it would be quite personal. I'm okay with sharing that if it's okay
Yeah,
to go
well,
on the
yeah,
podcast.
You share whatever you want. Yeah.
Well, basically, seeing as my dad has passed away a few months ago, I would say spend more than time with your dad. I did spend a lot of time with him. He actually lived with me up until the end. But yeah, that would be one thing. Spend more time with your dad, because he's gonna be gone way sooner than you think. And on a less depressive note, um, oh yeah, I would say to myself, dude, listen to your. And I would go back when I was in junior high, and I would say to myself, dude, listen to your friends about the way you are dressing because it sucks.
Okay, yeah, that kind of cheers things up.
Well, sorry to hear about your dad's passing.
Thank you.
Where do you see yourself for?
Joomla, I hope to see at a higher CMS market share than it is on right now. Myself, in 5 years, honestly, I don't know. I haven't thought of it because, for the last year of my dad's life, he was disabled. I was taking care of him. So, aside from that and my day to day job, everything else was kind of put on hold. And I didn't really think about that. Right now, I'm happy. I'm happy at the place where I am. I earn decent money doing what I like doing. One thing I would like to get back to is music. Since my dad had a stroke and my band split, I didn't really been involved in any music making in any band. So I would like to get back to that eventually. Um, well, right now I have my eyes on the support manager position in my company, so maybe that's gonna pan out.
Okay, well, changing gears again. It's time for rapid fire.
Oh
Okay.
yeah!
Oh, he's ready. He sounds ready. All right, Tim.
Dark, besides the regular suspects, name a favorite.
JCH Optimize. I used it for because I'm not a developer. I only know the basics of PHP and CSS, so I wouldn't be able to professionally optimize a site for speed and performance. And JCH Optimize is a great tool to automate a lot of that. Obviously, it's not a perfect tool. Nothing can replace, actually going into the code and manually changing the code so that it's shown and processed as efficiently as possible. But if you're not a developer and you want to automate some optimization stuff, I wholeheartedly suggest that you use JCH Optima.
What is an extension you would like to see developed that doesn't exist now?
I have no answer for you. I mean, for so far, whatever I needed to do, I was able to find an extension for.
What is one thing that you'd like to change in Joomla if you were in charge?
As I said before, set aside some money and get a staff of paid developers to work on.
Now, you already talked a lot about community, so let's change this question a bit. Apart from the community, what is something that you would like or love about Joomla?
What I really love about Joomla, aside from the T, is that it's the perfect middle ground. It's not as simplistic, and I say this word without any negative meaning, but it's not as simplistic as WordPress. It's more flexible and it allows you to do more things, but it's also not as complicated as, say, Drupal, which, if you're not a full-fledged PHP developer, you don't really have any business touching. It's the perfect middle ground for people like me. I think the proper term is integrators, which we don't touch a lot of code, we don't touch a lot of graphics, but we need a fairly simple yet flexible and powerful tool to put together a, say, medium-sized website. And Joomla is perfect for it.
Joomla 4 is going to be out soon. What are you most excited about for it?
New features. New features. I really like the new interface. I cannot really say if I'm gonna like using it yet, obviously, because I don't. But basically, I don't base my judgment on alpha or even beta version. I wait for at least the first release candidate. So for now, I'm reserving my judgment. But as I said, I do like the things we've seen so far about.
Name someone who contributes a lot to Joomla.
Off the top of my head, Nicholas Dionyzopoulos, Akiba. I mean, pardon my French, but the man's saves are all collective asses on a daily basis with both Akiba backup and admin tools. Yeah, that's my answer.
That's the end of Rapid Fire.
Derek, is there anything we did not ask you'd like to mention?
one thing to all the people listening, I would like you to go right now and email everybody at Open Source Matters to get them to get J and Beyond and the Joomla World Conference going again, because these are awesome conferences. I met a lot of great people on them, and I've learned a lot, and I love going to those conferences. So, give a little pressure to the guys up top.
I know they were all really disappointed to have to cancel. Derek, how can people reach out to you if they want to connect with you?
As far as I know, there's only one Darek Śnieg from Szczecin on Facebook, so that's one way of contacting me. We generally don't give out our company email addresses, but if you want to shoot me an email, it's sniegu@sabaton.pl.
Okay, and we'll have that information in the show notes. Derek, thanks so much for coming on the show.
I'm happy to have been here. It's a great experience.
You coming on here all started from me mentioning it while I was, support tick for me on Cloud Access on my free site. And we should mention that Cloud Access offers, tell us about the free Cloud Access.
It's another iteration of the Joomla Demo program, which we actually started back in the day. Basically, you go to launch.joomla.org, you order a free, again, fully functional Joomla website with joomla.com subdomain. It is free it is free indefinitely, but you have to log in to your client panel at Cloud Access and click the renew button every 30 days. But as long as you do that, you can keep it indefinitely. And I think it's I would be saying that even if I weren't working for Cloud Access. I think it's a great way of introducing people to Joomla, people who are maybe not that tech savvy. And with that concept of a demo program, you don't have to worry about it. You get Joomla already installed out of the box with some pre-installed content which you can play around. And I think it's a great way to introduce new people to the CMS.
Derek, thanks for being on the show again today.
Happy to have been here. Let's do it again.
Chetan, that's it for episode 12. I never thought we'd make it this far.
Oh, again the same thing, right?
I just thought I'd steal your line for a change.
JoomCast is recorded live on locations. This time it was Poland, India, and Kenya, using Zoom, Audacity, and a large bag of bungee cords. If you want to reach me personally, my Twitter handle is @Chetan Madaan, that's ChetanMadaan. And if you want to reach Tim, you can reach him at Basic Joomla, that's BASICJOOMLA. Until next time, enjoy your Joomla sites.
And God bless.